ABC Listen. Podcasts, radio, news, music, and more.
When I realized my emotions were just pretty simple, it was just like, oh my God, like wow. And Jalen was there, and she was cheering me on too, and she was like, oh my God, you're Olympic champion. And I was like, whoa.
That is Moguls gold medalist Elizabeth Lemley. You'll notice it's not Jakara Anthony. The reigning Olympic champion missed the medals entirely. So what happened, and can she redeem herself with the dual moguls still to come? Scotty James looks locked in to add that elusive Olympic gold medal to his collection in the snowboard halfpipe. Plus, the men's ice hockey's underway, and this year looks a little different. The NHL players are back. How might this shake up the Olympic competition? I'm Poppy Penny, and this is ABC Sport Daily. Simon Smale is in Milano-Cortina for the ABC, covering these Winter Olympics and doing the absolute most for us on this podcast. Simon, I had hoped that this morning we would be talking about Jakara Anthony defending her Olympic title. That's not the case. What happened?
You and me both, Poppy. It's so hard to understate just how big a favourite she is. There was such an anticipation around the entire Livigno village that Jakara Anthony was going to win a gold medal and Australia were going to get a gold medal today. Jakara Anthony looked fantastic. I mean, let's put this completely to bed. She topped for qualifying and her performance was out of this world. It was absolutely extraordinary. But the fact is that in mogul skiing, you have to be able to lay it down at the crucial time, which the crucial time being that top 8 shootout. Now, the two Americans who went before her put down some incredible runs. Lemley, she did 82.3, which everybody in the crowd, and there were a lot of Australians there with inflatable kangaroos wearing hockey shirts with Jakara Anthony's name on it. Everyone sort of looked at each other and went, oh, that was good. And then Jalen Kauf, another superb American, laid down a run of 80.77. Again, big scores, but nothing that Jakara Anthony couldn't deal with. She did lay it down. She got caught up a little bit at the top of the middle section and she skidded off course. And that's what can happen in mogul skiing. You only get one chance in the final. It's not like the half pipe where it's the best of 3, so you can afford a mistake or two. Jakara herself said that she actually quite likes that about mogul skiing. But unfortunately, it meant that she wasn't able to defend her title and she ended up finishing in 8th spot. And everyone was stunned. Everyone was shocked. The Americans were completely overjoyed, as you can imagine. They were celebrating wildly right next to the Australians, it has to be said. And Jakara sort of congratulated them and walked off to come and speak to us. And it has to be said, so impressed with the way that she handled defeat. Full credit to her. She didn't get it right today. She still has another chance in the dual moguls. So I guess that's a positive. But it was a big blow for Australia, this not to come away with a medal.
Absolutely. And you did speak to her in the mix zone after the race. What did she say to you?
She was brutally honest. She said she was bummed, which is fair. I think I'd be pretty bummed as well. But, there were no... I hate to say the term histrionics or over, emotional, because it is emotional. We were all emotional watching it. But she just said, yeah, it happens. It's the nature of our sport. She just didn't quite nail her run. But she said that's what she loves about the sport. It's performance on demand. You have to perform round after round. And she's just going to have to go again in the dual moguls.
Yeah, you mentioned the dual moguls. It's not sort of her pet event like the moguls run is, but how much motivation do you suspect this result will give her? And do you think that she is a chance to take gold in that dual event?
She's absolutely a chance to take gold. There's no question. It's in black and white. She got the highest score of anyone. It's just not when it counted. The way the judges were rewarding her for the style that she was showing. I mean, watching her go down that moguls course where some of the Americans are quite powerful and they really wrench their skis around. Jakara looks like a drop of condensation trickling down a mirror. It's just beautiful. It's art. And then her air is fantastic. Her style in the jumps is fantastic as well. all of that makes me think that she's just a superb chance. I mean, she's one of the best skiers in the world. She is the best mogul skier in the world.
Through the bumps, into this bottom air.
Anthony, come up the bottom air.
Big backflip with the mid grab, stomps the landing, and she's done it. 81.17 there for Jakara Anthony.
It just didn't happen on this specific run today, which is unfortunately what we're talking about.
There was some good news out of the final, though, and that was Charlotte Wilson, who not only qualified for that final, which is fantastic, but laid down a pretty good run. How exciting a prospect is she?
So Charlotte is 21 on Friday, so she did mention to us that was the biggest thing that was happening this week, which I loved, and it shows just the sort of confidence and cheekiness that she has. She's a great kid. Like, she's here with her sisters competing as well, which is amazing, but she had a bad run on Tuesday and she didn't qualify automatically for the top 10. And that upset her. And yet she put it to one side, put it behind her, did a lot of mental recovery, she said. She said there were a lot of emotions, did a bit of journaling. And yet she did an amazing run to top the table. So she qualified first of the rest, if you like. And then in the first final, the top 20 final, she did superbly. She scored 78.38. If she'd done that, she'd have got a bronze medal in the top 8 final, in the super final. Hugely impressive. And she's an enormous talent. To come 6th, I mean, that's hugely impressive. Emma Bosco as well. I thought she was quite unlucky not to make the top 20. Lots of really great performances from the girls. And yeah, it's just unfortunate we didn't get a medal today.
So some positives to take out there, and then some positives in the men's snowboard halfpipe qualifications as well. Scotty James and Valentino Gaselli both in action. Starting with Scotty, he's missing one medal colour from his Olympic collection. How did he look going down the pipe today?
The level was extraordinary. Everyone was just turning around and looking at each other saying, what are we seeing? This is a first hit of a qualification run. Everyone brought their A game, but the one man who brought his A game better than everyone else was Scotty James. He topped the standings through the qualification with just the most sublime run. It was just astonishing, the air that he was getting, the degree of difficulty in his tricks. He did that backside switch 1440. He looks dialed in. You're absolutely right. And he was philosophical at the base of the jump after we spoke to him, taking it as things come, just relaxing and trying to be keen. But my goodness, it was very exciting to watch. And we are in for a show on Friday, which is Saturday morning Australia time. Set your alarms.
And the other side of that show is Val Gaselli, the 20-year-old, also qualified. Seems to be one of the most chill guys on the course, just judging by his demeanour. He qualified too. How's he looking ahead of the final?
Phenomenal again. He opens up all of his really good runs with the most ridiculous air. He gets about 5 meters out the side of the pipe. The pipe is 7 meters high itself, and he gets 5 meters high on top of that. It's enormous air. And you just think, oh, as soon as he did that, again, we all looked at each other and went, oh boy, Val is on too. And he was. He absolutely flew down the pipe, did 2 really good runs. Both of them would have put him in 6th spot. So he finished comfortably in that top 6. He finished 6th, of course, in his Olympic debut. But I mean, he looked great too. And you're right, he is just the calmest guy. He's one of the most chilled kids I think I've ever spoken to. I mean, far cooler than I ever have any hopes or aspirations to be even, let alone have actually achieved. He actually said before we started speaking to him that he had been boarding a little bit angry at the start of the week. He was a bit jet lagged, a bit tired, wasn't really feeling things. If things weren't going his way, he was getting a bit frustrated. But today he was just in a delightful mood, and it showed with his board riding. It was just superb.
Simon Smale, Australia will be up early Saturday morning, I would suspect. Thank you so much for your time and talking us all through it.
No problem at all, but definitely set your alarm because the rumour is that Snoop Dogg's even going to fly in. So if it's good enough for him to come all the way up here, it should be good enough for you.
Arpon Basu is an NHL rider with The Athletic and is here to talk ice hockey. The men's draw has just gotten underway, and in 2026, the competition looks a little different to the last couple of iterations. The NHL players are back. Before we get into this year's competition, for Australians who maybe aren't locked into the sport, what is the history of ice hockey at the Winter Olympic Games? Because this sport is a big deal for a lot of nations.
Yes, it is, absolutely. So for the longest time, the Olympic ice hockey tournament was purely amateur. And so you only had players who were not professionals. Some were retired players, but most of them were younger players who had not yet reached the professional level. That changed in 1998 with the Nagano Games, where NHL players were included for the first time. Continued in 2002 right up until 2014 in Sochi, at which point the National Hockey League and the International Olympic Committee got into a bit of a dispute over some of the parameters that would allow NHL players to play. The NHL pulled their players from the games. And so in 2018, they did not go. 2022, they were supposed to go to Beijing, but then COVID put a wrench in that, obviously, and they had to pull out at the last minute. So 2022 games also did not have NHL players, even though they were supposed to go. The players pushed very hard for the NHL to get them back into the Olympics. And it was a collectively bargained point that the NHL eventually came through on by negotiating a deal with the IOC that allows them to be here at these games in Milan.
How many NHL players are we going to see taking the ice in this tournament? Like, what kind of impact is this going to have? Is it 1 or 2 players per team? Is it whole teams? What are we looking at here?
The big ice hockey countries are entirely made up of NHL players. So Canada, the United States, Sweden, Finland. Actually, Finland has 1 non-NHL player. And then you have countries like Switzerland and Germany, Slovakia, Czechia, that are either half or majority NHL players. So yeah, it's all of the top countries in this tournament are primarily, if not entirely, made up of NHL players.
For some of these pros who are taking part in this Olympic Games, how important might an Olympic medal be to their legacy? For guys who maybe are MVPs or Stanley Cup winners, what would an Olympic medal mean to add that to a trophy cabinet?
Well, you have to understand that since NHL players have not been at the Olympics since 2014, there's an entire generation of ice hockey superstars that have come of age and are now the dominant players in the game. Connor McDavid, for instance, is a top player for Canada.
McDavid, beautiful move. What can you say?
Austin Matthews is the captain of Team USA. Leon Draisaitl is the captain of Team Germany. Like, none of these guys have played in the Olympics before, yet they've won awards, trophies. None of the 3 guys I've mentioned won a Stanley Cup, but some of these guys have won Stanley Cups in the interim. But this is kind of the one thing missing on all of their resumes, and these are the top players in the world and have been for quite some time. The one box they haven't been able to check in their career so far.
The US haven't made a podium in the men's ice hockey since 2010. Do you think that, bringing these NHL players back into the Olympics, is this going to be a dream team situation like we have in the Summer Olympics with the basketball? Are they going to be unbeatable?
The U.S., no, not really. I mean, Canada has an excellent team and is probably the favorite to win the gold. USA is not far behind. Sweden is not that far behind them. The addition of the NHL players and the globalization of the game in general, I mean, how much it has spread to some non-traditional hockey countries like Germany, as I mentioned. Switzerland has a strong team. Slovakia, Czechia, as I mentioned, like, these are not the power countries, but they're all competitive teams, and they all have more players in the NHL than they did 10 or 15 years ago. So Team USA is not comparable to the basketball version of Team USA. They're in it. They could win a gold medal, but they're far from a lock to do so.
If I know anything about the Olympic Games, it's that anything can happen. So I can't wait to watch how this unfolds. Arpon, Basu, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Headlines. Remember the cheating biathlete from yesterday? Well, we've heard from his ex-girlfriend who spoke to the Norwegian press, saying, "It's hard to forgive even after a declaration of love in front of the whole world. I didn't choose to be put in this position and it's painful to have to endure it. We've been in contact and he's aware of my feelings about this." In a statement, Sturla Holm Lageryd says he regrets going so public with the matter. In the ice dancing, Australian pairing Holly Harris and Jason Chan finished 18th overall with a score of 176.39 after both the rhythm and freedance components. And away from Milano-Cortina, Australia have played their first game of the T20 World Cup, beating Ireland by 67 runs. The big story, though, is that Captain Mitch Marsh missed the match with an injury caused by a serious blow to the groin area in training on Sunday that caused internal testicular bleeding. Steve Smith has received a call-up to Sri Lanka should he be required. Meanwhile, in that same tournament, South Africa beat Afghanistan by 4 runs in a 2 super over thriller. Unreal stuff. And fun fact, you can catch that tournament on ABC Listen. I'm Poppy Penny and this is ABC Sport Daily, produced by Ed Gooden. Thanks to the FIS and Sportsnet for the extra audio used in this episode.
Discover more great ABC podcasts, live radio and exclusives on the ABC Listen app.